If your athletes are running their easy days at a 6 or 7 out of 10 effort, you're not building fitness. You're systematically destroying it. And the worst part? This mistake is invisible until it's too late. Let me show you what's actually happening inside your athletes' bodies when easy isn't actually easy. My name's Kevin Kuhn. I'm a running coach and kinesiologist. In the last 3 videos, we covered why aerobic training matters, what each training pace does physiologically, and how to structure your week with 3 hard days and 4 easy days. But here's the problem. Most teams aren't actually getting 4 easy days. They're getting 4 medium to hard days. And that changes everything. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what happens when easy days aren't easy enough, the physiological consequences, the performance plateau, and why this single mistake destroys more high school distance programs than any other. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to truly protect recovery and why easy running is the secret weapon of every great distance program. So, what actually happens inside your athletes' bodies when they run too hard on what should be an easy day? First, incomplete recovery. Your body has different fuel systems and different ways to create energy. After a hard workout, your glycogen stores, the carbohydrate fuel that's inside your muscles, those stores are depleted. And it takes 24 to 48 hours to fully replenish those stores, but only if you're actually resting or running truly easy and actually getting carbohydrate in. If you run at a 6 or a 7 out of 10 effort on an easy day, you're continuing to burn through that glycogen faster than you can replace it. Day after day, you're running on partially empty tanks. Your athletes are going to feel flat, heavy, and tired because they literally don't have the fuel that they need. Instead of refilling the gas tank, you're just keeping it on mostly empty. Second, accumulated muscle damage. Every time you run hard, you create micro tears or micro trauma within muscle fibers. That's normal. It's part of the training stimulus. But your body needs time to repair that damage. If you keep adding damage on top of damage without giving the body the time to heal, you're creating a chronic inflammatory system or state, and that's just going to reinforce more breakdown. Athletes who run too hard on easy days are essentially re-injuring themselves every day. The muscle fibers never fully repair, which means the adaptation can't happen. And eventually, something's going to break. An injury, an illness, or just a lack of change in performance and a complete plateau. Third, hormonal stress accumulation. When you run hard, your body releases stress hormones, primarily cortisol and adrenaline. That's fine in moderation. In fact, it helps you perform better in the moment when you have cortisol dumped into the system to break down muscle tissue to create more glycogen. But when that's chronic, you're breaking down your engine and you're not repairing the engine. So like I said, it's fine in moderation. It's fine in the moment where your body needs it. But if you're running hard 5, 6, or 7 days a week, those stress hormones stay elevated. And chronically high cortisol suppresses the immune system. It disrupts your sleep. It increases your injury risk. And it actually breaks down muscle tissue. Your athletes are going to get sick more often. They're not going to sleep as well. They're going to feel anxious and irritable. And they don't get faster, even though they're working harder than ever. Fourth, and this is critical, it limits your total training volume. Your total training volume, or the total number of miles or time that you can accumulate over a week or a month or a year, this is the variable that's most closely associated with long-term performance. The best distance runners in the world do high volume, whether that's all running or mostly running and some cross training, or like triathletes where it's a combination of 3 or more disciplines. But here's the key. You can only do high volume if most of it's easy. If your athletes are running too hard on easy days, they can't handle as much total volume. Their bodies are going to be too beat up. So you're forced to keep mileage lower than it should be, which is going to limit your long-term development. Running easy allows you to run more, and running more, when most of it is easy, is what builds elite endurance. So how do you know if your easy days are actually easy? Here are the warning signs. In training, maybe your athletes can't hit the prescribed paces in a workout. And if it's just every once in a while, I wouldn't worry about it. But if it's a consistent theme where your athlete is supposed to hit 6-minute pace for threshold, and for week after week after week after week, they're hitting 6:15 or 6:20 or 6:30 or 7 minutes. That's not because they're undertrained. It's because they're not recovered from yesterday's easy run. Athletes who are sore all the time, and we're not talking about like the good muscle soreness from a hard workout. We're talking about chronic achiness, heavy legs, and fatigue that never goes away. Or if your heart rates are elevated on what should be an easy run day, if you're running with a heart rate at 75 or 80 or 85% of your heart rate max, that's not an easy day. That's just another hard day. If you can't hold a conversation while you're running, right? Like the talk test is simple. If you can't speak a complete sentence without gasping, you're running too hard. So those are some warning signs with just regard to training. But what about with regards to racing? Let's say an athlete starts out at an appropriate pace, right? They're not blasting off on the front end because it's hard to tell if an athlete is fully recovered or not, or in good race shape if they don't take advantage of good pacing, right? If you're trying to run 5 flat and you go out in 65, it's probably not going to happen. So let's say you start out at an appropriate pace, but you just have no closing speed, or you just fade really hard. It's probably because you're not fully recovered and you're not fully adapted. You're just racing on tired legs. If you have these long performance plateaus or declines mid-season, maybe you start out really fresh and running well early season, but as the season progresses, you start to see fatigue accumulate and you don't see any sort of marked improvement. You're probably not recovered. You're probably training too hard on your easy days. One that stands out, not just with training and racing, but just in life in general, is, are you getting sick often? Right? Like if you have frequent colds or other types of illnesses, if you get stress fractures often, if you've got tendinitis, if you've got these chronic issues, then that's a sign that not necessarily that the training is too hard on the hard days, but that it's too hard on the easy days. So how do you teach athletes what easy should feel like? Well, most of them have never experienced truly easy running, so I like to use objective measures first. Right? You've got objective measures, you've got subjective measures. Start with concrete data. I like to use heart rate. Easy running should be 60 to 70% of heart rate max. For most high school athletes, that's going to be 120 to 140 beats per minute. I like to use the Maffetone method as a ceiling. So I'll give the athletes that range, 120 to 140. But then I'll say, but your ceiling is 180 minus your age. So for a 16-year-old, that's going to be 164 beats per minute, maximum. On an easy day, at no point can your heart rate go above that. I want them to stay in that 120 to 140 range, but maybe they go up a hill. Or maybe they start talking and they're not paying attention to their heart rate for a minute or two or whatever. And then they check and, it's started to spike. Don't let it get over that, that Maffetone ceiling. And if it does, you've got to slow down and you've got to adjust right away. Here's something critical. Running easy doesn't mean getting as close as you can to your heart rate ceiling. Right? Just because there's a guardrail on a dangerous mountain road doesn't mean you should try to get as close to the edge of a cliff as possible. If you notice your heart rate getting close to that ceiling, don't keep it there. Adjust your pace slow it down, and bring your heart rate down. The goal is to recover and keep it easy, not get as close to hard as possible without it actually being hard. The talk test. Athletes should be able to hold a full conversation on an easy run. Not just grunting out a few words here or there, but actual sentences, back and forth dialogue. If they can't, they're going too hard. I encourage my kids to talk a lot on easy runs. This is the time they can really get to know their teammates. I barely remember the hard workouts I did in high school, but I remember my abs hurting so bad during an easy run because my training partner in high school, Dane, was absolutely hilarious, and he would just always crack me up. He was always saying the funniest stuff. In college, it was the same. We'd go out of our way to make each other laugh as much as we could on easy days. You can't do that if you're running too hard. So enjoy the easy run and talk and get to know your teammates and have fun. Another way I like to manage easy running is to start out ridiculously easy. I'll tell my athletes on the first day, this is going to feel embarrassingly slow. You're going to feel like you could run way faster. Good. That's the point. I know you can run faster. That's not what we're doing today. We're going to save that for the hard day. Today, embarrassingly easy. We're on the first easy day as a big group. If you've got a smaller team of 10 to 15 kids, maybe that's one group, maybe that's 2 to 3 groups. Right? I've got a team of about 60 plus kids, so we typically split up into more than that, more groups than that. But the pace is always dictated by the slowest athlete in the group. No one splits off, no one surges ahead, everyone stays together. Everyone talks. Everyone stays under that 70% heart rate max or under their maffetone ceiling. The athletes who are fit will complain it's too easy. Perfect. That means they're actually recovering. You don't get less fit from going slower, but you will get more fit from accumulating more time at an appropriate heart rate. I like to make this non-negotiable. Easy days are not optional. They're not suggestions. If an athlete goes too hard on an easy day, then they're going to run easy the next day when everyone else gets to do a hard workout. I'd like to let them know, like, this isn't punishment. It's just you didn't do the appropriate thing yesterday, so now you're going to do the appropriate thing today. And then next week, maybe you'll do the appropriate thing and run easy on the easy day so that you can run with the team hard on the hard day. When an athlete who wants to train hard has to jog while everyone else on the team is doing a hard session, they tend to not make that mistake and overdo it the next time. But just let them know, like, this isn't punishment. I'm not doing this to make an example out of you. That's not it. I want you to be your best down the road when it counts. And so, maybe that was a mistake. Let's correct it. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this is a better way. Let's make sure we don't do that next week so that everyone can do the hard workout together. You have to protect your athletes from themselves sometimes because their instinct is to always run harder. I like to track and reinforce all this. So keep a log. How did you feel? What was your heart rate? Could you hold a conversation? Over time, your athlete's going to learn what easy actually feels like, and they'll start to see the connection. When they truly run easy on easy days, their hard days get better. A lot of times, you have to be as simple as this. I'm giving you permission to run slow. This might be the most important thing. To tell your athletes that running easy is not being lazy, it's not slacking off, it's strategic. It's what the best runners in the world do. It's how you get fast. Give them permission to run slow without feeling guilty about it. Now let's talk about why this is so hard for athletes and coaches to actually do. The fear is, if I run slow, I'll get slow. And this can be one of the biggest mental barriers. Athletes think that every run needs to make them faster. And the only way to get faster is to run fast. So they push on easy days because they're afraid that running slow will make them lose fitness. But here's the truth. You don't get faster during the workout. You get faster during the recovery, during the easy day. Running easy on easy days doesn't make you slow. It allows your body to adapt to the hard work you've already done. The athletes who run easy on easy days are the ones who can consistently crush hard workouts and race well. The athletes who never run easy are the ones who plateau and burn out. Peer pressure and competition. Easy runs often turn into races. One athlete picks up the pace a little, another athlete matches it. Before you know it, the whole group is running at a 7 or 8 out of 10 effort. And no one wants to be the one who slows down. As a coach, you have to break this cycle. Make it clear that easy runs are not competitions. The athlete who stays at easy pace while their teammates go too hard is the one showing discipline and intelligence, not weakness. Athletes, especially younger or less experienced athletes, often feel like they need to prove they belong. They think running hard all the time shows they're tough, they're committed, they're dedicated. But what it actually shows is that they just don't understand training. The toughest, most committed thing you can do is run easy when your body needs it, even when your ego wants to push. That takes real discipline. And when I see that from a younger athlete, I make sure to point it out. I let them know, hey, you did an excellent job by not overdoing it today. That means you're going to have a better session tomorrow. Your physiology, the adaptation, that's going to be rewarded. So keep doing that. That's excellent. And let's be honest, coaches struggle with this too. You see your team jogging along at an 8-minute or 9-minute or 10-minute pace on an easy day and you worry, are we doing enough? Shouldn't we be working harder? But remember, the teams that beat you aren't running hard 7 days a week. They're running easy on easy days and they're crushing it on the hard days. They're recovered, they're adapted, and they're ready to perform on the day that they need to run fast. If you're not confident in easy running, your athletes won't be either. You have to believe in the process as the coach. You have to model that belief. You have to explain to your athletes, sometimes over and over and over again, here's why we're doing this. It's not just because I don't know what else to do today. It's because this is probably the most important aspect of training. So, the overarching solution is to educate your athletes on why easy works. Show them the science. Share examples of elite runners who run huge mileage at slow paces. Help them understand that easy running is a strategic choice, not laziness. And then enforce it. Make easy days actually easy, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when athletes complain, even when it looks slow to outsiders. Trust the process. Easy running is how you build champions. One way that I reinforce this is I'll say to an athlete, who's your favorite runner? Have you seen Connor Mance's Strava? Look at what his heart rate is on his easy runs. You're going to be shocked because it's really fast, but it's not the speed that I'm impressed by. It's what's his heart rate on an easy day? It's probably 130 or 140. He's doing the exact same thing you should be doing, relatively speaking. He's keeping his heart rate in the appropriate zone so that he can actually recover, so that he can then, next time he has a hard workout, do some crazy stuff. And then on race day, he can run an American record. So things like Strava, that is so useful as a teaching tool for your athletes. Not focusing on pace, but focusing on other data. Right? Look at what their heart rate is. How impressive is that? How close can you match your heart rate to this elite runner's heart rate? Not pace, but heart rate. And when you do that, you're going to start to see huge improvements. So what happens when you actually get this right? When your athletes truly run easy on the easy days? First, the hard workouts get better. When athletes are recovered, they can hit the prescribed paces and workouts. That threshold workout at 6 flat, they can nail it. That critical velocity workout at 540 pace, they execute it perfectly, rep after rep. And it's not easy, right? They're still doing a hard effort, but they can hit the appropriate pace. They can do what they're supposed to do. And because they're executing workouts properly, They're getting the physiological adaptations we talked about in episode 2. They're building their aerobic engine. They're improving lactate clearance. They're expanding their VO2 max. All the things that actually make you faster. Second, your total training volume increases. Remember, total volume over time is the variable most closely associated with long-term performance. When athletes run easy on easy days, their bodies can handle more total mileage or more total time. Instead of being stuck at 30 to 35 miles per week because they feel beat up, they can progress to 40 or 45 or 50 or more than that. And that additional volume accumulated over months and years is what lays the foundation for elite endurance. Related to this is the third thing, which is that your consistency improves. Athletes who run easy on easy days don't get injured as often. They don't get sick as often. And they tend not to burn out mid-season. They can train week after week, month after month, year after year without missing big chunks of time. And consistency in this sport and showing up healthy and ready to train is more valuable than any single hard workout. I'll take 10 solid, well-executed workouts over one incredible workout. There's no comparison. Being able to show up consistently, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, that's what's going to get your kid or your athlete to the next level. And when you can be that consistent, the fourth thing happens, which is your racing improves. Athletes show up to races fresh, not tired, when they do their easy days easy. They have closing speed because they've fully adapted to the training. They can execute racing tactics because they have the energy reserves to respond when the pace surges. And here's what I see over and over. The athlete who runs easy on easy days might not always win early on in the season, especially when they just start doing this. But when this is stacked month after month after month and year after year, and then you get to championship time when everyone else is tired, they're still consistent and able to race hard. They're the one who kept improving while everyone else took time off or when everyone else plateaus. And finally, your long-term development accelerates. This is the fifth thing. An athlete who can handle 50 miles a week as a junior because they've protected recovery is going to be able to bump their mileage up their senior year and then bump it up again when they get to college. Because they've got these years of stacked, consistent training behind them. They haven't broken their body down with chronic overtraining. They've actually hardened their body and prepared it for the new challenge of accumulating even more volume as they progress up to the next level. Compare that to the athlete who hammered everything in high school and hit their peak as a sophomore and then limped through their junior and senior year with injuries and burnout. That athlete's ceiling is much lower. So the bottom line is, easy running is not the enemy of performance. It's the foundation of performance. The athletes who run easy on easy days are the ones who run fast on hard days and in races. Trust it, enforce it, and you'll watch your athletes thrive. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to individualize training within a team structure. How do you program workouts for athletes at different ability levels? How do you use pace groups? How do you balance team cohesion with individual development? That's coming up next. If this series is helping you rethink your training philosophy, subscribe to this channel. Drop a comment. What's your biggest challenge with getting athletes to run easy? And if you know a coach who has athletes who are always tired, or always injured, or always running medium hard, please share this with them. I think they need to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.